Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 18 of the Go-To Podcast with me, your host, Anthony DiDomenico, coming to you each week live from the Man-Child Studio in beautiful downtown Wantagh, New York. That's right. We're here. New episode this week. Sorry it's a day later, but there was some things going on. Nothing bad. All good. And we'll talk about some of those changes. But yeah, you can find the podcast over at Spotify, on Apple. You could find the podcast Amazon, and wherever you get your podcast. That's where we are. I decided to make it a global phenomenon. The Go-To Podcast. Everybody in the world can listen to my Michigas for no charge. All I ask is that you click the Buy Me Coffee link and send over a little something to help keep the lights on, so to speak. Anyway, let's get into this week's episode because we're going to have some stuff to talk about here. I'm excited. Some changes, good changes. And the change of the week is that hold on, I just want to fix my thing here. There we go. We do things live on the fly here. We change the angles and everything. But the big news of the week is that I changed my Instagram handle. I've had my Instagram handle since I was on Instagram, since I joined Instagram. Comic Anthony D was there from the beginning. And at first, I used Instagram not as social media. I used it as a way to edit pictures, like put like weird filters on them and things like that. And then I started using it as a social media and got addicted to it like everybody else. And, we love the gram and we're always doing it for the gram, so to speak. But yeah, I thought it was time to change the handle. And the new Instagram handle is the Go-To Anthony D. I took, the play on the podcast and my name, of course, and then mixed them together, and there's the new handle. Now, I was thinking about this for a while. I thought about this actually way back, even in like the Dub days, changing my Instagram handle. So I'll give you a little history of, I guess, of Instagram and the handles and things like that. And people change, people don't change. But I originally first was going to change this. This is when my other podcast, it was originally known as a WW Bro podcast, kind of took off. And my Instagram started gaining some traction with my WW journey and things like that. I was going to do what everybody else did and had like WW in front of their name. You couldn't be on Weight Watchers back in the day and be on Instagram if you didn't have WW in front of your name. Everybody had it. Some people still do. But yeah, it was a thing. You had to have WW in front of your name. And first, it was Weight Watchers, somebody, and then it was a long name, and then they went to WW, and everybody just changed it to WW. Then the ambassador program went away, and so did most of the people I talked to. And yeah, it just became everybody went back to their like normal names or something to kind of fit what they were doing at the moment or what they're doing now. But it's crazy. It's just crazy how I never thought I'd be wrapped up in social media. I never thought I'd be that guy. It's one of those things that, I don't know. I feel like it's like, Adam Sandler in the movie Funny People. He was like, he's like, I have 935 friends on the computer. And what are you doing tonight? Nothing. Talking to my friends on the computer. Yeah, like that's what I feel like, when I had this Instagram following. But listen, it's a part of our culture. It's a part of who we are. It's a part of, the world right now. And especially during COVID, that was a way to reach out to everybody and talk to them. And, it's crazy because I thought I had I thought I had real connections with people. And as soon as the WWE Ambassador program went away and people didn't have to be fake anymore to appease WW, they just threw a lot of people to the wayside. And what was left was people that I knew were in my corner and who were really there for me. And that's a good thing because I don't need fake people in my life. I don't need that. I don't need that nonsense. I don't need it. I'll cut somebody out like, like cutting some bad piece off of a piece of lettuce, some brown off of lettuce. I'll cut people out of my life just like that. I don't need negativity. Um, but yeah, it was hard to change because I think about like also it's that whole thing. Then again with the stand up, I'm not really I don't do stand up anymore. Um, I don't want to call myself a comic. I love and respect the art form of comedy so much. I'm not going to be one of these people that just says I'm a comic because I used to perform a lot. No, when I was performing, when I was putting everything I had into this, yes, then I was a comic. I was actively, being a comedian. But now I'm not a comic. I'm not, I'm not going out and performing on shows and writing and getting better at this. I haven't for a while. And I would rather like step back and wait for that like fire to come back than just be like, oh yeah, I'm a comedian. Like even now when people are like, hey, that's Anthony, he's a comedian. I say I used to be. I don't build this fakeness up and say things that aren't true. I get news to you. There's people out there performing stand up that aren't comics either. I see people doing the same act they've been doing for like 15 years, more than that. That's not being a comic. You're performing, but the art form and the whole art of it is like, getting up, writing over and over again, that whole thing, and like, really creating an act and creating jokes and that whole that's I love that and respect that art form so much. I love performing. I do. Even like when I was performing just once in a while, I loved being on stage and making people laugh and telling jokes. But it bothered me that I wasn't really bringing anything new to the table, and I wasn't doing it wholeheartedly. I put everything I had into my performance, but it wasn't, you know, I'm, I, they didn't, like, the place I was never heard the jokes before, but I've told the jokes before so many times, and I was just done. So, comic Anthony D had to go to the wayside. Um, and listen, I'll always have that part of me that was a comedian and that did that for so long, and I'm proud of that. It's one of the I'm one of the most things I'm proud of in my life. I got to live my dream every night for years. And dreams coming true is not like, rich and famous. Like, you think like, oh, you got to be a millionaire. You got to have all the money in the world to for dreams to come true. That's not true at all. When I was a kid, I used to sit and watch stand-up comedy with my parents. And I used to say to myself, one day I want to be on stage making people laugh. That was my that was my dream. And it came true. It 150% came true. And every night I was up on that stage, I was living my dream. Yeah, I had bigger dreams of, making a lot of money and being famous, but that's not why I started comedy. That's not why I got into stand up. Same goes with radio and podcasting. If you get into anything like I would say performance wise, and your sole goal is to make money and be famous, you're in it for the wrong reason. I love podcasting. I do. And that's why my Instagram handle has the podcast name in it, the Go To Anthony D, because this is what I'm doing now, and this is what I'm putting myself into. And this each week, talking on this microphone, and I've said it before, it means the world to me. I love this. I really do. I love this. Radio is my first love. I wanted to be on the radio since I was a little kid listening to Howard Stern. It sounds crazy, but that's true. My parents are huge Howard Stern fans. And, every morning my father would have Howard on in the house. And when things got a little raunchy, my mother would go over and turn the radio down. My father come out of the bathroom. He had the shaving cream on his face. He's like, Lit, I'm in there shaving. I got the water going. I can't hear. He turned it back up again. And I grew up on Howard. You're in high school. You listen to Howard going, on the way to school. And I had first period off senior year, but I had to drive my brother to school. So I still had to go in. I would sit in the cafeteria and listen to Howard Stern until second period. And I always wanted to be on radio. And I did. I went to Connecticut School of Broadcasting, took a crash course. I got on the radio. We paid to be on the radio. Me and my first show, the Hammerheads, with my friends who I made at Connecticut School of Broadcasting, Kevin, Tom, and Mike. And we were the Hammerheads. And every week we went on the air. We did our show, and it was awesome. And then I went to different things, and eventually got into podcasting. And now it's just technology has made it very simple to be a broadcaster. I used my phone as the camera. I have a microphone here. I'm in my bedroom doing this. I don't have to go to a studio. I mean, it's you could just do this from wherever you want, and that's the beauty of it. And I love that, actually. I love that for this medium. I think it's amazing because this is going to allow me to go out and do interviews wherever I want to do them, and record from maybe a cigar lounge, record from a movie theater, record from someplace. That's the beauty of this medium, and that's why that the change had to happen. And that's why I, changed the Instagram handle, because I'm not, actively pursuing stand-up comedy anymore. Podcasting's my gig right now, and I wanted my handle to reflect that. And it's bittersweet. I'm sad to see it go. A lot of good memories with it. It's an Instagram handle. I know you're like, hey, how could you be, getting mushad over Instagram handle? But I think about that, just all the things I've shared and people shouting me out and things like that. And that, people knew me by that. And I hope I could have the same success with this. And yeah, hope people now will know me as the go-to Anthony D. And if you're not following, go give it a follow. I'm going to try to post a lot of funny things. Just because I'm not doing stand-up doesn't mean I'm not going to try to make you laugh. I'm going to try to post some funny reels and things like that for you guys. So, yeah, go give that a watch. The last week, I've been just chilling at my brother's, hanging outside, smoking cigars, enjoying myself. They've been away in Cooperstown, my family. They'll be back when this episode airs. So, I mean, if you're listening to this, that means they're home. They made it back safely, thank God. My nephew Lucas absolutely killed it up in Cooperstown. He's knocking home runs over the fence like crazy. I think he's got 4 home runs this weekend. One of them a grand slam. I'm so proud of him. This is like his last hurrah with his team. Because he's 13 and he's all playing school ball and things like that. Yeah, but he's doing awesome, and I couldn't be prouder. Proud of all of them. Rocco too. He's got his first big tournament coming up on the road. Liddy's playing softball. They're doing their thing. And, it was funny because Sunday was National Aunts and Uncles Day. So being an uncle, I always make a post and this and that. And it means a lot, I don't have kids of my own. I probably never will. And those 3 kids, as I said before here, are the closest I will have to having children, and I look at them probably, I love them as much as you can love children that, in your family that aren't your own. Um, I don't want to talk about it too much more because I get choked up, and I don't want to do that on this podcast. But yeah, I just been hanging outside, enjoying the amazing weather we've had here this last week. It's been absolutely beautiful here on Long Island. Nice days, no humidity, less little breeze at night. And then yesterday, I decided to have myself a little Sunday dinner. A little macaroni, some rice balls from Umberto's in Belmore. And this is my only gripe. The food was delicious. I like Umberto's restaurants. I do. I think the food there is excellent. But this is my gripe. And it's not just with Umberto's, it's with it's with takeout food in general. I don't know when this happened with takeout food, that they stopped putting utensils and napkins in the bag. To me, it's a common courtesy. Now you have to ask for it. I gotta ask to have something to eat my food with. How do you know where that food's going when it leaves that place? What if there's somewhere where they don't have access to forks and knives and this and that? Now, I was at my brother's, but I don't have the key. Just hanging out in the backyard. Luckily, I have my camping gear in the car, and I had my camping fork and spoon with me, and I was able to eat. This happened to other things too. I ordered soup one time, a wonton soup from a Chinese joint. No spoon. You're packaging soup. Throw a spoon in there. This is every takeout place. It's like they hoard the napkins and the utensils. I remember back in the day when we'd order takeout. It came with like 25 menus, napkins, utensils, plates. They took care of you. Now, as the food gets more expensive, more crazy, you get the less you get. You don't get a fork to eat the macaroni with. I had spaghetti, meat sauce. How am I supposed to eat that without a fork? I like to twirl my macaroni. I'm not a Metagon. I don't need I don't slurp it up. Ugh. It drives me insane. It drives me crazy. It really does. It drives me crazy when that's going on now. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. I'll tell you a place that does always put utensils and napkins in the bag. I'll tell you the place that does is where I got where the go-to coffee of the week is. That's right. Once again, my go-to coffee of the week is from Buzzed in Belmore. The place that used to be a dairy barn that cousin Joe worked at back in the day in the 90s. The 90s where movies, music, and TV meant something. It's my motto now. But yeah, they came out with a delicious coffee. Absolutely delicious. And when they teased this, I kind of knew where they were going. They had a video where a guy came out. He goes, "I'm gonna have a cigarette," and he's sitting on the bench and he's drinking a coffee. And they go, "I thought you were having a cigarette." And he goes, "Yeah, I'm having a fridge cig." I'm like, "Oh." And I wrote, "If you're making something with a DC, I'm not gonna be able to handle it." And sure enough, they came out with a coffee. It's cold brew, Diet Coke or Coca Cola, whatever you want to use. If you want to use regular Coke or Diet Coke, I picked Diet Coke, being a DC guy. And it's sweet vanilla cold foam on top. These flavors go so well together. I did a review on it. It's on my Instagram page, the go-to Anthony D. It tasted like a little bit like a root beer float mixed with an egg cream. It was delicious. You get the subtle bubble still, the sody, the coffee, and the cream. Oh my god, it's amazing. It's the drink of the summer. I can't wait to get another one. And it's perfectly named the fridge cig because that's what they call Diet Cokes now, fridge cigs. Because people don't smoke that much anymore. So instead of going out for a smoke break, they have a Diet Coke break. And believe me, like you have a hard day, you reach into that fridge, you grab a ice cold DC, take that first sip. It's like it's heaven. So yeah, they actually had a phenomenal coffee they came out with. Go check them out. They put utensils in the bag. Whenever I get something, even if I get like I get an egg sandwich, they put something in the bag. It's nice. I get eggs. I get ketchup on the side. They put a knife in there, so you can like a gentleman put the ketchup on. Buzz and Belmore, go check them out. I started rewatching Oz from HBO because of TikTok. I don't know how this got into my algorithm. All of a sudden, I'm getting these on TikTok. I'm getting all these reels with clips from the TV show Oz. I'm like, I gotta watch this again because I was one of my favorite shows. I watched the original run, and let me tell you something. This show is the reason why I'll never go to prison. And I can't. I couldn't go to prison. Watching the show, I'm like, yeah, I couldn't survive this. I could never survive this. And once again, with as an HBO show, the cast is phenomenal. Edie Falco was on here before she was with The Sopranos. It's a phenomenal cast, absolutely phenomenal cast. I'm not gonna go down the whole list of characters because there's a lot of people. It's a prison, so you have to fill the prison. But HBO casted this once again perfectly, and I started watching this again, and it's so good. It is such a good show. The writing, the directing, the acting, so good. HBO is phenomenal when it comes to TV shows. They really are. I mean, I that was my favorite thing on a Sunday was watching HBO programming. It was fantastic. They cornered the market on Sunday night programming. They really did, even before The Sopranos. And yeah, Oz went on for I think 6 seasons. So I'm in the middle of season 1, and it's just a lot of memories coming back of watching the show at night, being like, yeah, I'm never gonna go to prison. I couldn't do it. And I just love the characters, and you know the different characters, dissension into madness, some of them, and coming back from it, and back and forth, and just I guess the mind fuck that prison is. So I'm getting into that. I'm still watching The Sopranos too. Um, I really got to watch the Dutton Ranch. I think it's over now, but I really want to get into that. And every time I tried to watch it, I fell asleep. But I really, really want to watch that. I really want to get into that series because I loved Yellowstone. I know I keep saying it each week, but I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I want to thank everybody who joined us this week for this week's Michigas on the Go To podcast. As always, the podcast is available on Spotify, on Apple, on all podcast platforms, including YouTube. The video will be on YouTube. Go to my YouTube channel, the Go To Pod, and subscribe, like, 5-star review wherever you can. I have a link for Buy Me a Coffee. All the money goes back into the podcast, keeping the lights on, so to speak. That's what we do here. If you haven't yet, go follow me on Instagram over at the Go To Anthony D. I almost forgot what it was for a second. I'm gonna have to get used to it. The Go To Anthony D. Go check it out. Once again, thank you so much to everybody who joined me. This has been episode 18. Have an awesome week. I'll talk to you later.